Hello, we are the Geeky Guys, and today our guest is an actor from Canada.
That's right, you may have seen her in films such as The Incredible Hulk, Mr. Viral, and Chloe. However, today it's her voice work that we're interested in.
It is indeed. She is the voice of Lucy, the ship's computer, from the SyFy channel show Killjoys. It is, of course, the lovely Tamsen McDonough. Hello, Tamsen.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you for having me.
It's quite all right. First of all, although obviously it was announced a little while ago, a renewal of Killjoys for 2 more series.
Yeah, 4 and 5.
Yes, we are pretty thrilled. We're pretty excited.
Which is always good, always good.
For saying how good the networks are.
No, that's really good news. We were quite happy about it. It was when Killjoys came out. I mean, we said in a previous podcast it was terms to pretty much a lot of things that was out at the time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In terms of the style of the show.
They're having a lot of fun with it, and sort of I think really combining a lot of great genres, a lot of great tones, but all still keeping it really unified.
Yeah.
It's and they're making it look easy, which just pisses me off now. But they're really a really clever bunch. Michelle Avretta, who's the creator and head writer and producer, and the rest of her Killjoys team are a really clever bunch who I think really love the show as well. When I first went on to set, when I did in season 2, they brought Lucy to life.
Yes.
It was so much fun. The crew were all, hi, it's so nice to meet you. They were actually very excited to meet, this one character who they hadn't, been able to work with in person because I'm always at a sound booth, telling me to go check out the ship and, have you checked this out? Push those buttons, really fun things happen. So it was really, it was just really cool for the crew and the writers and production team to also be really, excited. People seem to take real pride in this show.
Was there
really
a weird moment as you were walking around the set thinking, I'm walking around inside myself?
Exactly. Yeah, it was a little surreal.
We love the fembot. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that had to be done, didn't it?
It's kind
of. It has to be done.
It's kind of been done a little bit in other shows. I mean, I loved Andromeda, and Romy was, of course, Andromeda. I think that was a brilliant idea to have the ship actually walking around inside the ship. You can do so much more with it. We want to see more of that. Hopefully that will happen. I don't know if that will or not.
I hope so. She was a lot of fun, but they've got so many great ideas. It's sometimes you've just got to pick the best 5 out of the 40 you've got. So, obviously I'm a little biased. I would love Lucy to be able to run around and smooch with John some more. So
yeah, I don't think he'd mind that.
He wouldn't, would
he?
He wouldn't mind
she's
that.
She's good, and maybe she wants to take it further. Second base perhaps. You just never know.
Absolutely.
She's a minx. I would say Lucy's a bit of a minx.
I like that idea too. Yeah, I like that idea too. We've said obviously the show's done really well. When you first auditioned, did you anticipate it being this big?
No. You just, I read it, so it's like, oh wow, this is amazing. But it's also Canadian, and so you just never know how much it's going to translate outside of Canada.
That's true.
But it's just too good to not have now gone through over into the States and then across the pond and then way across a bunch of other ponds and it was you just can never tell, even though you think it should. So it was for how big it's become and how popular it's become was definitely oh my god, this is awesome.
It's one of those things, isn't it? You just put everything into it, you do your best you can do, and then you throw it out there and hope for the best and hopes it builds traction and, like you say, goes across different continents and people like it, whatever language they speak, wherever they're from.
Exactly.
That's what you want.
Exactly. So, it's it was a very, very wonderful surprise that it's done so well.
This obviously, we know you've done some voice work for commercials and things like that before. This is like the first major sort of voice role for you. Was that how different was that to do that? Was it weird, sort of going to work of a morning and then sort of sitting in a room on your own?
Yeah, well, it was funny because I started as just a regular actress. And then started to get into the voice stuff, and so it was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then all of a sudden this came up, and it was, wow, I get to mix the two, which has been really cool.
Yeah.
Because with regular voice stuff, you're doing commercials, so you're a little held back. But all of a sudden, I've got a character that I work with plot and situation and other characters and so it's a different kind of acting job where you have to keep it held back but still convey all kinds of ideas and thoughts and emotions, if you can call Lucy stuff emotions. So it's been a really cool sort of mix of the two, and then I get to wear my jammies while I'm doing it, so that's nice. I like it.
Well, it's that line between wanting to feel really comfortable at work and wanting to feel sexy at work, and quite frankly, if you've got the right pajamas, you can do both.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just can't show up in the wrong pajamas, like competing show pajamas.
No.
That's all I really do.
Not Dark Matter or Expanse pajamas. That won't go down well.
Exactly. Yeah, no Expanse pajamas.
Do you ever get involved much with the live recordings of the show, or is your stuff all done separately?
No, it's all done separately. When I was on set doing the Lucy bot, it was really fun. I got to actually I sat off to the side, which usually it's the first assistant director just throwing the lines at usually Johnny, usually Aaron Ashmore. So it was really fun, and the actor said it was really cool to have the actual voice coming back at them instead of some first assistant director who's just, yes, John, that sounds fun. It was nice.
Not quite the same.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the same. So that was the only time I'd really kind of done the Lucy ship with all the other characters. Otherwise, it's funny though, because somebody asked me at one point, oh, that must suck to be in this room by yourself. But there's a really cool side of it as well. It's, of course, I'm an actor, so we're people who love being around other people generally.
Yeah.
And so I love feeding off of the other actors. But something that's really great is that I don't have to deal with green screens.
No.
I don't have to deal with, trying to use my imagination that there's space in front of me, because there's a huge screen that's, larger than life, showing all the special effects have been in there. And I've got the surround sound coming at me. So I actually really feel immersed in the world itself.
Yeah.
Which is a really big bonus to be able to do my part.
There's no stunts or wire work either. Sound booth. That's quite nice. Not so much physical demands on you.
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah, you don't need a stunt double. That's one thing.
Definitely not for that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's I mean, every so often it'd be nice when you're doing your tucks and rolls, and no, I'm fine.
I suppose you're careful then to make sure you look after your voice. I would have thought.
Yeah, it's funny though, because it's a whole other world that I just, like I said, until I started doing voice, I just didn't really realize.
Yeah.
It was incredibly, sort of just quite a little bit of an aside here. It was incredibly nerve-wracking because I was living in Vancouver when I got the audition, and I was booked, and so they said, I can't remember what day I was going back in on. I think it was February sometime. Okay, so if you can, we need you out here at this date, and about 7 days before I was scheduled to fly out and start shooting, this TV series, I got laryngitis.
Oh God, not what you want. Not a good start.
And they needed the character to start shooting, and so I'm just panicking. I'm doing everything I possibly can, and then getting on the plane and flying out here, and just every day hoping for it to go away, because knowing that they'll they have to shoot, so they would have had to go with the their second choice kind of thing. So luck would have it, the night before it finally cleared out, and the next morning I was 100%. But that was a little racking.
Awkward start. That was
going to say, from now on, I suppose every time you get a bit of a cold or a creak in your voice, it's like, oh no, we need to fix this straight away.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah, you just jump on it. Well, that was the thing that was very strange, for it to come on so suddenly and so without warning. I didn't have a cold, I didn't have the flu, I didn't have anything. Just all of a sudden I was talking to my friend and my voice just went away.
Yeah.
So it was very strange.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So it's something, when you end up, when you're doing voice, especially with Lucy, I have a whole little station there, and I have water, and then you have tea with all the honey in it, and then you have your cut up apples, and yeah, she looked like quite a lunatic bringing in all your stuff.
I'm partial to a chamomile and honey myself.
That's quite nice.
All right, that's maybe one I'll have to try.
Yeah, chamomile with honey. You can get the tea bags actually with both in, but I prefer to have a chamomile tea bag and then squirt a bit of honey in instead.
Yeah, that natural way is a bit better, isn't it? Always a bit better.
That's also really soothing. Gotcha.
If we gave you a magic wand,
yes,
and we said you could perhaps play a different character on the show for a little while instead to see what that might be like, is there another character? I know obviously we love Lucy, and obviously you're attached to Lucy, but if there would be a different character, would the one that jump out, you say, I'd like a go at that?
Probably Pre.
Really?
Serving
I
the
love
drinks,
Pre.
getting the whiskies out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've just created so many great characters, and I suppose I'm also partial to Pre because I've become very good friends with Tom Allison.
Yeah.
But it's tricky though because there's just so many cool aspects to each character, and I guess it's also I'm thinking, okay, what's there's the obvious play Duchess part because she's so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's hard because those are the two, and Anila. I was even thinking, Anila might be kind of fun to play just because she's so vicious. And so
playing the evil twin.
Calm and even what? Sorry.
Playing the evil twin.
Playing the evil twin, yeah. So it's hard. It's a good question. It's just one that I would kind of tomorrow I might have a different answer.
Yeah.
So probably I would say Dutch or Dutch or Pre. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good answer. It's a very good answer.
Excuse me.
Characters if you guys want to play.
Ooh, I'd have to go for Johnny. I think. I don't think I could do the sort of the sort of tall.
The Davin role. The heavy lifting, punching people out.
I'll use my brain. I think that's
well, Aaron's in pretty freaking good shape too.
He is actually. The last major role, obviously, that I saw him in was in Smallville. I loved him in Smallville as Jimmy Olsen, big Superman fan. So, and he was really good as Jimmy Olsen. That was fantastic. I loved his portrayal of Jimmy Olsen. It was so wholesome.
Yeah, and he's really bulked up with this, and so he's he's a good size. Standing next to Luke.
In fact, it was Dave, in fact, that put me on to Killjoys, and he said, you've got to watch it. It's it's got this person, and I was like, Rushmore, he played Jimmy Olsen in Small. Yeah. So I watched it, and it was like, did he? Is that the same person? Yeah.
You really need to watch him in The Following as well with Kevin Bacon. That was very good.
Well,
that was very, very good.
That's his brother.
Right.
That's his twin.
Cool. Okay.
Good series, though.
So that's Sean Ashmore. Sean is in the. I believe Aaron is in Warehouse 13.
Yes, he is
and then Sean also was Iceman in X-Men.
So more to add to the list there, Dave. More to add to the list.
Absolutely.
Well, I had got a question actually about some of your perhaps favourite other sci-fi shows. If you had to sit and watch one of an evening, what would Tamsen watch if you had to sit?
Definitely Firefly. Firefly is the big one for me. One of my favorite movies of all time is Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Luke Besson.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah. Just phenomenal, and just all the characters again. And that was. It almost feels a little bit to me like Killjoys has got elements of Firefly, elements of Fifth Element, a little bit of Star Wars here and there, and they'll pay homages every so often in a space fight scene. They'll pay an homage to Star Wars.
Yeah.
And even with one of the last episodes in the third season with the Endor moon, the moon of Endor.
Yeah.
With Ewoks running through the forest and that kind of thing. So there's these wonderful elements of all these fantastic sci-fi shows. So Killjoys is kind of this cool hybrid, which I love. So.
When we talk about the fact that we're so glad it's got more series, I think you think back to Firefly, don't you? And you think it just made at the wrong time, perhaps.
It would have been very popular now.
I know there were also.
Now, it would they'd never let it get off the air now.
No.
It's unfortunate.
But something we've mentioned before about the number of different reference points in Killjoys and the things that are similar to things that have been in other series or films, and you see a lot of that in there, don't you? A lot of the good stuff from other shows.
You do, and I think, go back to Firefly for 1 second, I know it's the wrong show, but they didn't really have those references. It was an entire, it was quite,
it's true.
Just that, and
maybe
having
a whole genre.
Maybe having that helps. Brings people in.
Yeah, but they were breaking such ground with it that it was maybe it was just more than people could kind of accept at the time. I mean, well, now they're, and this is, I think that basically Firefly really paved the way for Killjoys in terms of having this sort of multi-toned sci-fi show, in that there is action, adventure, humor, so much humor, great characters that are just all over the map, and then drama, and then it's just a little bit of everything, and just melded together so well that I really think that Killjoys is kind of the second coming of Firefly a little bit.
I think now obviously Killjoys is absolutely fantastic in its own right, and
of course,
But back when it first came on the air, I think you said to me, I said, well, what's it like? And you went, it's kind of like Firefly.
Firefly. That was one of the first things I said, wasn't it?
I think if anything, that obviously is a nod to how good Killjoys is when you say
absolutely.
It's like Firefly.
Yeah, it's a good reference point to put in there, isn't it? It's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. So. And I hope we, do it all justice, all the whole sci-fi genre, but I think they are. I think they're really bringing some cool stuff to it, and just the imagination, which is, for me, was so much why I love sci-fi. The whole, the whole geekosphere I really love is just the imagination, because you can go anywhere with it.
Oh yeah,
you can. You've got the technology. You've got ships that can do all sorts of things, artificial reality, time travel. You can create any kind of fantasy scenario world you want most of the time, can't you? Explore all sorts of situations.
I think what would be nice, especially for you perhaps, is to perhaps go back and look at Lucy's origins and in more detail.
I would like, they hinted at it very briefly. It was a longer scene when I shot it, but I think it did just, so often there's so many great things happening in an episode, you can't keep everything in.
No.
But there was a little bit more in I can't remember what episode it was, 304 maybe. But they hinted at when the two of them first met, and Johnny was wearing guy liner and had a little faux hawk.
Sounds about right.
And just there's sort of a beginning. Yeah, it was great. The beginnings of a conversation. So I hope they kind of expand on that a little bit, and how Lucy met Dutch and how this all came to be. So it would, I would love to see that.
Like a nice flashback episode. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah, I think that would be really neat. So we'll see. We just never know what they can fit in.
We'll get on to Michelle. We'll mention
the great stuff they've. Exactly. Yeah, give a shout out.
Obviously you've done voice acting, you've obviously done live acting. Is acting something you always wanted to do growing up? Is that?
Yeah. I say that with a bit of
for my sins, I wanted to.
Oh yeah.
If you couldn't, act, what would be your second choice of a job if you couldn't act?
Well, I'm writing as well, so I think probably doing that side of it. Being the imaginative side. I can talk. The imagination side of it is setting up the characters and creating these worlds and things. So I've started poking around with that. I've been looking at a heroine of yours, actually, way back a long time ago, doing a historical drama. So
cool.
See if we can bring it. See if we can bring it over here and get it rolling.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you're the writer, you have all the power as well, don't you? You can create the thing.
Yeah.
Put it all out.
You can make all. Yeah.
As long as the network gives you the money to do it, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Commissions for certain
things.
things.
I need my craft dinner and Twinkies, so
Nice.
We've obviously talked about perhaps going back and looking at the origins of Lucy. Is there anything else that you might like to see in the next two series coming up? Is there anything area you'd like to explore?
Let's see. I would love to see more on the monks. Just that whole side of it. I think it's very mysterious. I think it's very cool. I'm really sad that they killed off Elvis. He was one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he was a great character. Once him and the moments between him and Dutch were always really emotional and entertaining and good fun.
Yeah.
I just thought they worked well together on screen.
There's always
and then he and Davin were just such a strange pair. One of my favorite lines in the whole thing was Davin said to Elvis, "You're a strange little dude, aren't you?" And Elvis said, "Thank you."
Yeah, fantastic.
There's always flashbacks again, so
That's true. That's true. Well, I hope so, because I think there's a real mystery and something very cool, a very cool rabbit hole they could go down with that I would love to see. I would love to see also Lucy get a bunch of really great guns and go, get it to a full-on gun battle. And of course, I would love to see more Lucy Bot. I think that would be fun.
Yes, definitely.
Some Lucy mods and some Lucy Fembot.
Yeah.
Be sorted, wouldn't it?
Exactly, Lucy Mod. That would be awesome. Oh, I really liked the hack mods too. I would love to see more of the hack mods.
The hack mods, yeah, they were pretty cool, weren't they?
Yeah,
That
was a really cool idea, and I would love to see that. Just more.
Have you been given any hints yourself about what might be coming up, or?
Nope. No, they keep it very close to the chest. They only give, if you're showing up on set, then you get the script and so on. It's held very tightly. So,
in a way, I suppose that's quite nice, because it does mean that you get that suspense as well.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's quite wonderful. I get to sort of be a fan at the same time as working on it. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Just briefly, because you've obviously been doing conventions now as well. Some of, at least. I mean, we obviously go to one or two ourselves. What was that like? Because that's a completely different world, perhaps, if you've never been to one before.
I recommend to everybody to go to these things. I think they are the most fun. They are you sort of slough off all the social conventions of adulting and all that. I just find it's very much kind of a great sort of adult playground where you can kind of be a kid and go back to being creative and imaginative and just putting together these characters and these scenarios and I think it's really fun. It's very much a play kind of thing. So I really like them a lot.
I've not heard that term used before for conventions, adult playground. I like that. I love that, because that's exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
Every adult that goes to a convention is in reality 12 years old. That's
Exactly.
what they are.
Yeah.
And you're able to be 12 years old while you're there.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with bringing out your inner child.
No.
Absolutely, it's very much an inner child thing, and I still haven't grown up at all. So my inner child is always right first and foremost. So it just works very well for me.
I mean, obviously on our list of things to do, because we've not done any conventions over in Canada or the States. That's obviously on our list of things to do, to hop over the pond and come and play over there.
Need to do that.
Have you? I don't think you've done any conventions over here, have you, Tamsen?
I haven't. There's one that we're negotiating right now, actually. So I'm hoping to announce that soon. Yeah.
Oh, well,
so fingers crossed.
Well, we might be seeing you in person then at some point.
Yeah,
That's very, very nice.
wonderful.
No, that'd be really good. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's. I'm just trying to think of people from Killjoys. I don't think I've seen. Was Aaron Ashmore doing it here?
I don't think not specifically for Killjoys.
Has he been over?
I don't think, maybe for other things in the past and stuff, last 10 years. But I certainly don't think there's been any Killjoys stuff.
That's conventions are a whole new world. That I know some actors do get a little bit sort of nervous going to a convention.
They do, yeah, and it's odd to have so much attention on you. At the same time you love it, so to be honest, but it is very. There's so many people. Their attention is focused on you, and so you're okay. I better speak very carefully here, so I don't say anything really dumb.
Yeah, we've watched some panels recorded where you do see people, and they cock it right up. Basically.
Oh no, okay. That'll be me at some. some point for sure.
There was which one was it where they completely spoiled something recently?
Oh, there was the MCM Comic Con, wasn't it, on the Supernatural panel when they mentioned something that had happened. A lot of people hadn't seen it.
Yeah, because obviously we're in the UK and UK was behind at that point on the show. It was Supernatural, and they said, "Oh, she dies," and it's like half the room went, and it was like,
Oh,
"Yeah, I die again."
Moment.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
oh dear, he would have gotten a little slap for that one.
It was someone. The thing is, it was someone in the audience that said it.
No. Oh, okay. So
That's
at least
even
it
worse.
wasn't the actors.
Madness, absolute madness.
Jeez.
Is there an air date set for the next series of Killjoys?
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
I have a feeling it's going to be pushed back unless they can really kill themselves to get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think we've been coming out August in the past.
Yeah, it's been
But-
summerish, haven't they?
Yeah, they're shooting all 20 episodes at once instead of
Right.
shooting 10.
Blimey.
So, yeah, and they had to write all 20s or, write all 20 as well. So they only started shooting just before Christmas, when usually I think they were starting to shoot in October.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's hard to say. Or maybe they'll be releasing as we're, on air. I'm not sure. So, but we seem to do quite well with the August releases. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say.
Well, if they're certainly doing it all together, one thing's for sure, which is that you're going to need plenty of honey.
Exactly.
Funny too.
Plenty of honey. Excellent.
No kidding.
Tamsen, it's been absolutely lovely to speak with you.
Yes, you as well. This has been so much fun.
We will do this again soon.
Yeah, we need to do a catch up then
We'll
at
do
the
a
end of season
catch-up.
4.
At the
Yes,
end of
hopefully I'll be on your side.
yes. Thank you so much for this, and good luck, obviously, with Series 4 and 5, of course.
Thanks so much.
And we will catch you later.
Yes, sounds great.
Thanks.
Have a good week, and we'll speak to you soon, Tasman.
Sounds good.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye. You've been listening to the Geeky Guys.
For more information, visit our website at geekyguys.co.uk.